Today I'm rating Mariah Carey's Caution album. Hey kids, Treacle here and welcome back to my channel. Today I am concluding my album rating series. Over the past few months I have gone through every single Mariah Carey album and I have applied my scoring system to them, and I've picked out a skip and a repeat from each album. It's been a lot of fun, especially swapping thoughts with you guys in the comment section. And we are finally here at Caution, the last of Mariah's 15 studio albums. So let's get stuck into this album rating video. Caution seemed to come out of nowhere in 2018, but at the same time, it really did feel due. It had been 4 years since Me, I Am Mariah, the Elusive Chanteuse, and Vegas residencies, and Mariah got through that stellar Hella era, so she really was in a different place. I believe it was in the beginning of 2018, Mariah confirmed that she was working on a new album, and then boom, we had it just a few months later, and it doesn't really happen like that anymore. I think Mariah tells us when she's working on it, and then we know, oh, okay, so it's going to be like a year or two, you know, until we get it. But this seemed really, really fast. Having said that, Mariah did recently say in a new interview at the top of this year that she wishes she had a bit more time to work on Caution. So if you haven't heard that interview and my thoughts on it, do go and check out that video where I discuss her comments. I'll make sure the link is in the description below for you. Caution is succinct and short for Mariah at only 10 tracks and has a running time of just over 38 minutes, but it feels fresh and focused, to me at least. Let's get into the scoring system. The first category is songs. How much out of 10 would you give the songs on Caution just based on how much you enjoy them? So looking at the songs, in fact, let's look at the track listing. Let's really remind myself. So GTFO is a song that I still love. I really still listen to it all the time. With You, I still enjoy. Caution, I love. A No-No was my least favorite to start with, and it had to grow on me. And you know what? The music video really helps because I do love that music video. The Distance, again, grew on me, but I love it a lot now. Giving Me Life, we all love that right from the beginning. One More Again, 8th Grade. For those three songs together in a row work really, really well. But I love Giving Me Life and 8th Grade a little bit more. Stay Long, Love You. I have to be in the mood a little bit. Everything feels really chilled on the album, and then that song starts as a little bit of a rude awakening. And Portrait, I love. I mean, there's so much here that I really, really do love. I'm going to give the songs on Caution 8 out of 10 because there are songs that I do really, really still listen to a lot. It feels like Mariah doing her thing, but she's trying something a little bit different a lot of the time. There's this kind of chilled, slightly electronic at times vibe to it. So she's bringing me new things, exposing me to, you know, her little experimentations. And I'm like, okay, I hear you. I see what you're doing. So I feel like she's flirting with different things and she's not afraid to grow and dabble, you know, try different things. But it still sounds like Mariah. It's not like she's doing somebody else's work. It's still very organic and it's her at the heart of it. So she gives me Mariah songs in like a new generation, really, and I really do love them. So songs on Caution, I do love, 8 out of 10. Lyrics, what would you give the lyrics of the songs out of 10? So take away the melody, take away the vocals, just reading through the lyrics. So at this point, Mariah is a pro, okay? We know she can write really good songs. I mean, 8th Grade and Give Me Life, they are genius. They are slick, sexy, cool, but they've got lyrics that get us talking, and you can pick up on the lyrics very easily in these songs. I think that's been a critique of some of Mariah's work on other albums is you love the song, but she is really giving us so many different layers and this wall of sound and breathy, whispery vocals. Sometimes it's hard to really get the lyrics straight away and it makes it less accessible because we lambs, we're going to listen to the lyrics over and over and over. But on this album, I feel like the lyrics are really accessible and I think that really, really helps. I'm going with 8.5 because I do feel that the lyrics are smart and clever as always, but they're not like just trying to be clever for like showing off. It feels organic and it feels natural. Portrait really takes me back to songs like Looking In and Petals, and I think Mariah said at the time she's really proud of that song, and yeah, she should be. Next up, we have vocals. What would you give the vocals on this album out of 10? This is an interesting one because we don't have a lot of big, huge vocals that we are used to. There isn't that one really huge, big song. There's not a lot of power ballads and things like that. It is an album that to me is late night, chilled, glass of wine, lights down low kind of vibe, and I think that is what the vocals give me. That's what the songs give me. And so I think the vocals serve that purpose. So I'm giving the vocals 7 out of 10 because we don't get everything that Mariah has to offer as a singer, but what she's given us on this album is perfect for what she's wanting to serve up. Interestingly enough, Mariah did comment in that interview I mentioned that she wasn't in the place vocally on Caution that she believes she is in now. So yeah, do go and check out that video. The link is in the description below. Next up is Unity or Cohesion. How well does the album flow from one song to the next? Are you happy with the sequencing? How does it work as a single body of art? Do you listen to the album from start to finish? Caution for me flows, and it flows really, really well. There's only a mood change at the end. I feel like Stay Long Love You is a little bit of an abrupt awakening, and then it's right back down again with Portrait. But Portrait, I think, breaks the mold of the album well. You know, we've got this whole chilled moment. It picks up a little bit with Stay Long Love You. And then Portrait is like a very reflective moment. But overall, this is an album that, like I say, it flows and I do play from start to finish. I'm giving it 9. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 because it's just that little bit at the end where I feel like it's a little bit of a bump and then like a landing. But overall, yeah, I listen to Caution top to bottom all the way through. I think the fact that it is a concise album, I wouldn't say there are filler songs. I think every song has earned its place on the album and deserves to be there. And I think that is something we sometimes critique past albums for. Maybe when there are 14, 15 tracks, it feels like it could be condensed down. Well, Mariah did it for us with Caution. So I've got nothing to really cut from the album. So I think it works top to bottom. And finally, we have longevity. What do you consider the lasting impact of this album to be on Mariah's career? Now, it's a tough one with Caution because it's only been 2.5 years since it's been out. So it's not like we can look back and say, oh yeah, Merry Christmas. That album had a huge impact on her legacy and things like that. It has only been a couple of minutes, really, since Caution was released. Having said that, I'm going to confidently give it 7.5 because I do think it is significant. She's back with Sony. She's settled after having a few bumps in the road. And for me, this is Mariah entering her legacy era. We see now, and this album really helped bump her up here, amongst her peers and in the music industry, there's just mad love and respect for her. She has some really significant moments with award shows. I'm thinking of the Billboard Icon Award and her performance at the American Music Awards, and just the fact she's back out there. This album put her back out there amongst her peers, and I'm so happy to see her getting all the love and respect that she deserves from these people. And I do think that the critical reception and the reviews really, really helped as well. But ultimately, when we look back in years to come, when we look back at 2018, leading into 2019 and the whole Caution era, I think we're going to look back and we're still going to be really pleased with how the album was rolled out and like the artwork, the photo shoots, how the era was handled overall and the quality of the music. So yeah, I feel like I'm placing my bets, like how I'm going to feel when I look back in 5-10 years time, but I'm putting 7.5 on the table. Adding everything up, that gives Caution a total score of 40 points out of 50. It's just missed out on my top 5, but 2 of my top 5 albums are Christmas albums. I need to reflect on that. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, but in terms of non-Christmas studio albums, it is right up there as I expected it to be. And as always, before we finish, we have a couple of things to pick, and I invite you to join in with me. Let me know your choices in the comments. We're going to pick a skip and also a repeat. First up, we do the repeat. So for me, GTFO was the contender when the album first came out, but now I've lived with it for a couple of years, 2.5 years in fact. It is 8th Grade. For me, 8th Grade is the one. If I have to pick one song on the album, it has to be 8th Grade. I just really, really love it. As a skip, it's difficult because, like I said, this album is really concise, but I'm going to go with, it's either Stay Long Love You or One More Again. I'm going to go One More Again because it sits there between Giving Me Life and 8th Grade, and they are both, for me, it's like they're 3 songs that are kind of similar. If I had to cut one, I would cut One More Again. At least Stay Long Love You gives me something slightly different from the rest of the album. So yeah, my skip would be One More Again. Let me know your choices in the comments when it comes to a repeat and a skip. I love catching up with you there and seeing what your thoughts are. There's no hate or shade to any songs. We just all have our own preferences and our own favorites, and I like to compare. And that is it really for my album rating series. We have gone through all of the albums over the past few months. I've had a great time doing it. So thank you for joining me for this. I will be back once more with a brief video just to reflect on my leaderboard. Here is how it looks at the moment. I just want to live with this for a moment, digest it, and I will come back shortly and share with you whether I feel like I got it right, whether I think any albums are too high or too low, was I too generous or, you know, too mean with one album. So I'll live with this leaderboard for a minute and I will come back to you and just reflect on this whole process, because it has been a bit of a journey. I've been doing these videos over well, a good few months now. So each album has its own rating video in a playlist. So if you did miss any of the other videos, do go and check them out. I'll link to the playlist in the description below. And yeah, thanks once again for joining me rating these albums and picking out skips and favorites. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much, guys. Make sure you're subscribed and I will see you in the next video. Cheers, thanks a lot.